Here with me today is Coach Terry Martin, the head football coach of Brobridge High School and the Brobridge High School athletic director. Hi, Coach Terry.
How you doing?
Good. All right, so today I'm going to ask you a few questions about budget and finances regarding athletic director and football coach. So first off, who's responsible for the budgeting process? What policies are associated with budgetary decision making in the organization?
Well, pretty much each head coach of the individual sport is responsible for his or her budget.
Okay.
And once they decide if they want something, we actually have a process where they have to request a purchase order before they purchase anything. Okay. In other words, they can't even go buy a 10-cent screw if they want to pay with school money without getting the purchase order first. And that has to go through the principal, through a financial secretary, and once they go through it, they can do everything by email. She will forward the purchase order number through email, and then we can go ahead and order it.
Okay, awesome. How are all of the financial decisions made?
Once again, each head coach is responsible for his or her sport. They decide what they need, and if they have the money for it, as long as the principal will sign off on it, they pretty much have the liberty to get what they need.
With the purchase order.
Right.
Okay. And then how often is a budget revised?
Actually, we have a very, very good financial secretary here. And she sends us at least once a week, will send us an update on what each coach has in his or her budget.
Wow.
So she kind of keeps it updated. You know, it's not like that everywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
We're just fortunate to have a very good one here. And so each coach pretty much knows what he or she has throughout the entire year. And I've only been here now a week and a half, but I've been very, very happy with the way that she operates.
That's great. Awesome. And does, what input do you get from department heads or coaches? Do you get any input?
Once again, the athletic director does have the right to see what's in each budget, but it's pretty much they control their own budget. I really don't try to tell them, one way or the other what to do. If the principal should see that they're going way over what they have, then obviously he'll step in and put a stop to it. But I don't have much input on what they get or on what they need.
Okay. So for the other employees, do they have access to the budget information, or
actually in a public school, the entire public does. At any time, any person from within the community can come to our front office and request to see the records of any sport. And really, by law, they have the right to see that. It's all public record.
Okay, all public. Cool. And then how are the budget figures derived from sport to sport or year to year?
It is actually pretty individualized because obviously some sports require much more money. And in my experience with football is by far that takes the most money.
Sure.
So each sport, besides the revenue that they get from gate receipts, whether they sell concessions, some of them, actually football, we don't always really control the concessions, we give it to other sports. Okay. And some football coaches just rather not mess with that, if you don't know the truth, or rather let somebody else handle it. But each sport does have individual fundraisers. I mean, it's kind of a necessary evil. And so one of the other questions you asked earlier about as far as the athletic director having control over certain things, that's one thing that if ever we see that two sports are trying to have the same type of fundraiser, or maybe one sport tries to have a fundraiser, an additional one, during the sports season of another sport, we normally try to put a stop to that. Or at least we try to okay it with that sport first. We try to keep everything pretty specific as far as you want to say Brobridge basketball. It should say girls basketball, boys basketball. So, because sometimes you can get some people confusing the two, or I want to donate to the girls, but I didn't know, and so the boys end up getting it. Okay. So that's one area where maybe an athletic director does have a say-so in that.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of talked a little bit about revenue with the concessions and stuff like that. Where else do y'all get revenue?
Pretty much just gate money. Whenever we have home contests and individual fundraisers, that's pretty much it. Some of us actually have booster clubs that are actually, some of us are very fortunate to have really good booster clubs that do contribute to that sport also. So I forgot to mention that. There are, I don't want to say every sport has one, but several sports at our school have booster clubs that are specific just to that sport and do whatever they can to help that sport.
And the expenses for, let's say, just football, shoulder pads, uniforms, all that.
Unbelievable. And it's only getting worse and worse because we're now living pretty much in a liability conscious society where any little thing that goes wrong, you have to always kind of be on the lookout for some potential lawsuit. Because of that, equipment now, at least at the high school level, not at the lower levels, has to constantly be monitored. Every year we have to turn in our helmets, they have to be checked, they have to be reconditioned, and they have to be okay to be used again. Now there's a law that every 2 years a helmet has to be recertified again. At a 10-year period, that helmet has to be thrown away regardless of the condition, just because it's, you know, the seriousness of concussions and how just the public is so much more aware of it now. Because of that, the cost of helmets and shoulder pads has gone through the roof. A lot of football programs can expect on a yearly basis to spend anywhere from $35,000 to $40,000, in some cases $55,000.
Wow.
Expenses.
Just expenses.
Expenses. That's football.
Okay.
You know, obviously others may not be that much, but it can really get out of hand.
So does the revenue exceed the expenses, or?
Thank God again for booster clubs, because if not, it probably would.
Okay.
It probably would.
All right. And last question. What program do y'all use to manage the money? Is it do you know what the
honestly the school board does? I'm not exactly sure, because all I know is that about 1.5 years ago we switched to a new program, and it was horrendous for a while.
Okay.
They couldn't figure out how to do anything. I mean, all of us pretty much use Excel type spreadsheets, but it used to be AccuFund.
Okay.
It's either AccuFund now or it used to be. Now I'm not totally positive what it is.
Well, awesome.
So I don't know.
Well, thank you so much.
No
I
problem at all.
appreciate you
Thank you.
talking with me today.
And good luck.
Thanks for watching.